Doctors told me I should have slowed down a long time ago, but here I am at 92, still driving, still healthy. No sickness, not even a cold in over 30 years. It's not luck though. It's because of 5 simple habits that changed everything. They might seem so simple that they couldn't possibly work, but trust me, they do. Here's what I do differently and why you might want to start these habits today. Every morning, before I even get out of bed, I move. It's not exercise, and it's definitely not stretching. It's what I call a signal to my body, a reminder that today we move, we breathe, and we live. I've been doing this since I was 62. A doctor once told me that the body ages fastest in the first 30 minutes after you wake up. Your blood is thicker, your joints are stiff, and your nervous system is still shaking off the sleep. But most people rush it. They jump out of bed, grab their phone, and immediately dive into the stress of the day. I do the opposite. I lie on my back, take 3 deep breaths, stretch my fingers, wiggle my toes, and then slowly rotate my ankles and wrists. It takes 90 seconds, but it wakes up every joint, tendon, and muscle, telling them you're needed today. It may sound silly, but this tiny ritual sends blood flow to my limbs, oxygen to my brain, and awareness to my movements. It helps reduce the chance of falls, calms my nervous system, and boosts circulation. Studies from the National Institute on Aging back this up. Older adults who engage in gentle morning mobility exercises report higher energy levels, clearer minds, and better balance throughout the day. If you think it's too simple, let me tell you how my mornings used to be. At 60, I would wake up stiff, stumble to the bathroom with heavy legs and a foggy head. Once, I even tripped over my slippers because my feet hadn't woken up in time. That's when I realized if I didn't send a signal to my body, it would stay asleep. Now I do it every day before coffee, before checking the news. And if I forget, my body reminds me. What's powerful isn't just the stretch, it's the habit. Consistency, not intensity, is what rewires the body. The Mayo Clinic published research showing that consistent, low-intensity mobility exercises in the morning can reduce inflammation, support joint health, and even regulate blood pressure in older adults. That's not hype, it's science. And here's the best part. You don't need a yoga mat, you don't need any fancy equipment, you don't even need to get out of bed. You just need 90 seconds to tell your muscles, we're still in this together. So ask yourself, when's the last time you truly said good morning to your body? Because aging doesn't happen all at once. It happens in small moments like this. Quiet, early, and easy to forget. But in those moments, you can start again. After I move in the morning, I drink something that has kept me from getting sick for over 30 years. It's not a supplement, it's not a pill, and it's definitely not some $50 powdered superfood from the internet. It's a warm glass of water with lemon, turmeric, and a pinch of black pepper. That's it. But don't let the simplicity fool you. This habit is a powerhouse. It's the first thing that enters my system every morning. And it's how I prime my immune system, lower inflammation, and jumpstart my digestion before breakfast. Let's break it down. Lemon. Fresh lemon juice is full of vitamin C, an antioxidant that supports the production of white blood cells, which are your immune system's front line. According to the Linus Pauling Institute at Oregon State University, vitamin C doesn't just help prevent illness, it also shortens its duration, especially for older adults. It also helps kickstart bile production in the liver, which supports digestion and prevents toxins from building up. Ever wonder why digestion slows as you age? Low stomach acid is often the culprit, and lemon helps fix that. Next, we have turmeric, nature's most powerful anti-inflammatory root. It contains a compound called curcumin, which has been proven in hundreds of peer-reviewed studies to lower inflammation in the body. Inflammation increases as we age and can lead to chronic diseases, joint pain, and even cognitive decline. A study published in Frontiers in Pharmacology found that curcumin supplements improved immune function in aging adults and reduced oxidative stress. But here's the trick. Black pepper isn't just for flavor. It contains piperine, a compound that increases curcumin's absorption by up to 2,000%. Without it, turmeric barely makes it into your bloodstream. Together, these three ingredients form what I call my golden glass. It takes less than 5 minutes to make. Just heat a cup of water, not boiling, just warm enough to drink comfortably. Squeeze in half a lemon, add 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, and a pinch of black pepper. Stir, sip, and let it work its magic. I've had this drink nearly every morning for 3 decades. Not because I read about it online, but because I felt the difference. When I started, I had sinus infections twice a year, achy joints every winter, and always felt sluggish after breakfast. 2 weeks after starting this habit, my digestion improved. I wasn't bloated. My joints felt looser. And a few months later, I realized I hadn't been sick in almost a year. That was 30 years ago, and I've stuck with it ever since. Do I still get exposed to viruses? Sure. But my body doesn't roll out the red carpet for them anymore. It's awake, it's alert, it's prepared. This golden glass is more than a drink. It's a signal to my body that today we're on offense. You don't need expensive supplements or complex routines. You need small, consistent habits that whisper, "I care about you." So tomorrow, before you toast your bread or crack your eggs, pour yourself something golden. And as you sip, remember, you're not just drinking a beverage. You're making a declaration. I choose health, not by chance, but by choice. I don't walk for exercise, I walk for healing. Every day, rain or shine, I step outside and take a 15-minute anti-inflammatory walk. No headphones, no phone, just movement and breath. Most people underestimate walking. They see it as something you do when you can't run, like it's the backup plan. But at 92, I can tell you it's the foundation. In my 60s, I used to jog. I thought I had to sweat to stay young. But then I read a study that changed my life. It said that walking can reduce systemic inflammation, regulate blood sugar, boost memory, and even lower your risk of death by 39%. That's when I stopped chasing sweat and started embracing rhythm. Walking isn't just about moving your body forward. It's about putting everything else back in place. Your joints, your lymphatic system, your nervous system, even your thoughts. And here's the key. I do it every day, no matter what. I don't walk far, sometimes it's just around the block. But I never miss it. Not because I'm disciplined, but because I've seen what happens when I don't. I become stiff, my joints ache, my thoughts get cloudy, and my digestion slows. But when I walk, I feel like a machine. My shoulders roll back, my knees stay flexible, my mood rises, and by the time I return, I feel like I've been reset. There's science behind this. A study in the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that just 20 minutes of walking reduced levels of C-reactive protein, a marker of inflammation, in older adults. Another study from Stanford showed that walking boosts creativity and mental clarity more than any seated activity. But you want to know what really convinced me? One morning, about 25 years ago, I skipped my walk. I was busy, told myself I'd do it later, but the day got away from me. For the first time in years, I felt old. Not tired, not sore, but old. That's when I realized walking wasn't optional. It was medicine. Now I treat my daily walk like a prescription. I put on shoes with good support, start slow, focus on my breath. Inhale for 4 seconds, exhale for 6. I swing my arms gently to keep my posture open. And here's something you might not expect. I smile while I walk. Not because I'm happy, but because it makes me happy. That small act of smiling activates your vagus nerve, a powerful part of your nervous system that regulates inflammation, heart rate, and even digestion. A study in psychosomatic medicine found that smiling, especially while moving, amplifies the anti-stress effects of physical activity. So, I smile, I breathe, I walk for 15 minutes every day, and it has given me decades of strength. You don't need fancy gear. You don't need perfect weather. You don't even need energy. Walking gives it to you. Your body was built to move, and every step says, I still can. There's one nutrient I never skip, Not once in over 30 years. It's not a vitamin. It's not a magic mineral. It's something much more foundational: protein. When I turned 60, I thought I was eating well. Fruits, veggies, whole grains, even the occasional multivitamin. But I was still losing strength. My energy dipped by mid-morning and I started forgetting things. Names, where I left my keys, even whether I'd eaten lunch. I thought it was just age, but my doctor told me, "No, you're just not getting enough protein." It turns out that after 60, your body becomes less efficient at absorbing and using protein. This means you need more, not less, to maintain muscle, memory, immunity, and healing. That's when I changed my breakfast completely. Instead of cereal or toast, I started eating what I call the brain and body breakfast. It's simple. 1. Boiled egg, a cup of Greek yogurt, a handful of walnuts, and a few blueberries. That's over 25 grams of high-quality protein, plus anti-inflammatories, healthy fats, and brain-boosting antioxidants. It doesn't just fill me, it fuels me. Protein isn't just for bodybuilders. It's for immune cells, which are made from amino acids. It's for enzymes that repair tissue. It's for neurotransmitters that keep your brain sharp. Studies show that older adults who consume 25-30 grams of protein per meal have significantly better muscle mass, fewer hospitalizations, and even longer lifespans. Another study found that seniors with higher protein intake have stronger immune responses to illness and vaccines. It's not just about strength, it's about resilience. But not all proteins are created equal. That's why I focus on complete proteins, those that contain all 9 essential amino acids. Eggs are a perfect source. Greek yogurt is also a complete protein, plus it's full of calcium and probiotics. Walnuts, though not complete, are packed with omega-3s and inflammation-fighting properties. And blueberries? They're the antioxidants that tie it all together. This breakfast doesn't just keep me full, it keeps me unshakable. And here's something I didn't expect. My blood sugar stabilized. I used to crash by 11 a.m., but now I glide through the morning like I'm 40 again. Whether I have meetings, long drives, or appointments, it doesn't matter. I'm sharp. I'm steady. All because I started with what matters most. And no, it doesn't have to be complicated. Some days I mix it up. A small piece of grilled chicken on sprouted toast, cottage cheese with flax seeds, or a lentil scramble if I'm feeling fancy. But the rule stays the same. Never skip protein, especially at breakfast. That's when your body decides how it will perform for the rest of the day. You wouldn't fuel a car with fumes, would you? So why do we do it to ourselves? A protein-rich breakfast isn't a luxury. It's a lifeline, one you can start tomorrow no matter your age or your past. Because your body doesn't care how old you are. It cares how you feed it today. There's something else no doctor ever told me. Your mind gets sick before your body does. And if you want to stay truly young, you have to start there. Every morning, before I speak to anyone or check the weather, I do something I call mental tuning. It's not meditation, and it's not therapy. I sit still for 3 minutes and picture the kind of day I want to have. I don't think about traffic, errands, or bills. I imagine how I want to feel: calm, strong, steady, useful. I picture myself moving through the day in that state, confident behind the wheel, clear in conversation, at peace with whatever happens. This may sound small, but it's the most powerful thing I do. Your brain doesn't know the difference between something you imagine vividly and something that actually happens. That's not just a motivational quote, it's neuroscience. Research from Dr. Joe Dispenza in Harvard has shown that when people vividly imagine doing an activity, the same areas of the brain fire as if they were actually doing it. Over time, this rewires your nervous system. In other words, you can train your body to be calm, focused, and sharp before you even leave the house. Why does this matter? Because chronic stress is the #1 immune killer. Not germs, not genetics, but stress. It raises cortisol, which damages brain cells, weakens immunity, and even strips muscle. Seniors carry stress differently, and it shows up in confusion. fatigue and illness that seems to come out of nowhere. But when you take 3 minutes each morning to tune your mind, everything shifts. I had a friend years ago, the same age as me, with the same health background, but he was always stressed. News, politics, money. He lived in a constant state of fight or flight. One day he collapsed due to a heart issue. He recovered, but things were never the same. He asked me, "How come you're never rattled? Don't you ever worry?" I told him, "Worry is a thief." And every morning, I lock the door. It starts with intention and ends with resilience. When you train your mind to be still, your body follows. Your blood pressure lowers. Your immune cells activate. Your memory sharpens. You even digest food better. A study from the University of Wisconsin-Madison found that just 5 minutes of daily mental rehearsal significantly reduced anxiety, improved focus, and boosted immune response in adults over 65. And the effects lasted for weeks. Yes, I walk, I drink my turmeric tonic, I eat protein, but none of it would matter without this. Because your thoughts shape your hormones, and your hormones shape your health. You don't need to be a monk or a guru. You don't need candles or mantras. Just sit, picture strength, picture joy, picture yourself driving at 92, laughing at traffic, never getting sick. Over time, you'll notice something strange. It becomes real. It wasn't luck, it wasn't genetics, it wasn't a secret. It was 5 simple choices, done daily, done consistently. 5 tiny habits that rewired my body, and maybe even saved my life. And you don't have to be 92 to start. You just have to start. The morning movement, the golden glass, the healing walk, the breakfast that builds, the mind that leads the body. They may look small, but they're mighty, because health doesn't vanish in an instant. It slips away in the things we skip. And it comes back in quiet choices that rebuild strength, thought by thought, step by step, bite by bite. If you're wondering if it's too late, let me remind you, you're still here. You still can, and you're already on your way. But there's one more secret I haven't shared yet. It's the one thing I do every single night after the habits, after the meals, after the walking and the thinking. Something that repairs my body while I sleep. Science says it might be the missing key to reversing